Okay, so this is part 3. I deleted the other one. This is about self-defense. This is about conventional and unconventional weapons and its relevance of my other 2 videos about what I did, or what I said, rather. So in the other videos, I talked about on-campus rapes and shit like that. And then I talked about conventional and unconventional weapons in the video that I deleted about self-defense. That video was only 2 minutes long. I'm going to go into a little bit more depth on your conventional and your standard and your unconventional weapons. What I just dropped was a conventional or an unconventional weapon, depending on where you stand on the weapon spectrum. Alright, so a completely and totally unconventional weapon, because no one these days walks around with bow and arrows. This would nowadays be considered an unconventional weapon. Alright, no college kid I know walks around with a bow and arrow. Ooh. I guess it actually can still hurt someone without a tip. So yeah. Again, I just poked a serious hole up in this thing. Don't worry, I'm gonna show you so that you don't think I was bullshitting. Yeah, so that killed that. But that's no longer a standard weapon. Now, those days of that being a standard weapon are long gone. Unconventional weapon. Pair of pliers. Your keys are standard and unconventional technically, because you always have your keys on you, so that makes it a standard weapon as well as an unconventional weapon, because most people don't have that at the time mindset. Ruler. Unconventional weapon, but can be used as a martial artist. Unconventional weapons have saved lives. Comb. Unconventional weapon, but with the right force and the right angle, hitting in the right spots, can do some damage. Plus, most people don't think you can hurt them with a comb or a brush. You'd be surprised at the things you can do with something as simple as a comb or a brush. Or an ink pen. Now, for you ladies specifically, you ladies generally have these things on you at all times. Us men, on the other hand, unless we're Vanity Smurf, we don't really carry these things around with us all the time. Maybe you fashion models might, but, once my hair gets combed, it's done. Alright? Other things that you could probably use in the art of self-defense, shoestring. You won't be able to get that in the middle of a fight. You're not going to have time to unlace your shoe and take that bitch off, just in case someone tries to hit me up with McDojos on the shit that you can and can't do. I'm not going to give you the shoestring lesson on how fast it's going to take for you to untie your shoe and use this shoestring as a weapon against someone, because it ain't going to happen. And all fights are situational. You're wearing high heel shoes, you have a weapon. That heel on the back of that high heel shoe. You're wearing flats, you still have a weapon. The chances of you getting the shoe off in time to use it to defend yourself is very, very slim. A book. A book is a very solid piece of equipment. It can also be used as a weapon. If you jam the book into their throat, cluck them in the head somewhere, smack them in the face, most people have their books in their backpacks. So it's a high probability that you will not be able to get to your book in time to use it as a weapon. However, it is an unconventional weapon. It is not a standard weapon, it is an unconventional weapon. This remote does not count, because unless someone's breaking into your house, it is an unconventional weapon, but it can still be used. Same thing with your phone, same thing with the rim of your eyeglasses. Unconventional, but you can jab somebody in the eye with this son bitch. You're going to have to buy a new pair of glasses, because I recommend that you break the damn thing off and then use it as a weapon to jab in an eye, jab at the nose, jab in the throat, jab in the ear, behind the ear, somewhere where you can do some damage on fleshy tissue. Hitting people in solid muscle, it's not always the best idea. Hitting them in the gut, because most people are weak in the gut. Hitting them in the liver, the kidneys, and stuff like that. There are more conventional places to hit them. 9 times out of 10, hitting the guy that's trying to rape you in the testicles is probably going to piss them off. But I'm going to suggest do it anyway, because a person bent over and hurt gives you the opportunity to grab and knee strike them. I would say knee strike and an elbow, but somebody's probably going to say something bad about this video anyway. But the fact of the matter is, if you've never done that in a fight, and if you're panicky and scared, you're not going to be able to concentrate in time to maneuver yourself in the ability to be in a place where you can actually use these things effectively. Elbows and kneecaps, unless you're a professional Thai fighter, are for close quarters combat. And if you don't have the training for close quarters combat, it is probably not going to work out in your favor. Elbow this way, elbow this way, elbow this way. Now, on the other hand, if someone's coming up behind you to grab you, elbow this way, elbow this way. Those are effective. And 9 times out of 10, if you don't practice them, they will be ineffective. So boom, boom. Those are practicing. You're going to have to practice them at least 2 or 3 times a day. I don't know if you'll find a punching bag or a partner who will allow you to elbow them in the gut or in the face. But in the events that you do find someone that's tough enough to allow you to do that, and they have been professionally trained, when you are practicing with your elbowing them, you want to actually elbow them with your muscle so that your fatty tissue versus your bone is hitting them, because it's practice and you don't want to hurt them. You don't want to hurt your training partner. Now, self-defense and fighting are one and the same. Don't let anybody tell you differently. I just pissed off 1,000 people with that comment right there. Because here's the thing. There is a thin line between self-defense and fighting. Alright? If you haven't been in a fight, it doesn't hurt to know how to defend yourself. If you've been in a lot of fights, then you're right up my alley and you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. Alright? Because here's a simple fact. Jab, jab, uppercut, cross. Those are your boxings. Jab, jab, uppercut, cross. Alright, so you got that. But what is your primary target in boxing? Body and head. Same thing with most martial arts. Body and head. And some martial arts teaches you grappling, like if you're in jiu-jitsu or BJJ or judo or any other martial arts. Tiger style sometimes teaches grappling. Dragon also teaches grappling. Mantis doesn't really teach you grappling as much as poking. Kenpo can teach you grappling. Aikido can teach you grappling. It's just a matter of who's teaching you what. When it comes to a martial art, it is very good to be well versed in all types of martial arts than just to be grounded in one. But if you are grounded in one, then that will be the one that you need to stick with until the end. But do not be a fool and don't subject yourself to other forms of martial arts, because there are thousands. Literally, there are thousands of different forms of martial arts. And to know them is to love them. And to love them is to use them. So if you are doing a martial art as your art and you are learning how to use it in a fighting capacity, then you need to be learning more than one. If you're stuck in Crane, which is also Kung Fu as well as Karate, Crane Karate from Okinawa Kenpo, Crane Kung Fu, the stance is still the same. Praying Mantis from Kung Fu, there is no Praying Mantis Karate. And if there is, I don't know it. I know Praying Mantis is Kung Fu. Yes, you have this, you can go high and you can go low. Alright? Same thing with Crane. You have here, or you have here, or back down to there. The Okinawa Karate is different from the Crane Kung Fu, but not by much. Let's see. You have the dragon. Excuse me, this is the tiger. The dragon starts here, but eventually you will go into a tiger type strike. Dragon, dragon. Tiger starts here. Those are your tiger strikes. For the most part, here's reality. Tiger's good for film. Alright? Dragon is good for film. The problem is there are not a lot of real dragon practitioners that can teach you how to start from here and throw a strike and a counter. And I just cut myself. You probably heard that pop. Yeah, that was me. Anyway, it does happen. I'm not bleeding, so it wasn't a really deep cut. But for Tiger and Dragon, they are similar in their strikes. Dragon fights wisdom. Tiger fights aggression. Now, here's where things get rocky. So, if you're learning Kempo, are you learning Chinese, Japanese, or Korean? So, scratch off Chinese. There's no Chinese Kempo. At least, if there is, I was not taught it. Okinawa Kempo is Japanese, where Kempo is from Korea. So you see the confusion there. I'm not bleeding, but I'm in pain. Okay, so if you're doing Kempo, every pressure point and joint are things you are taught. Same thing with Aikido. In Kempo, every block is a strike, and every strike is a block. All right. So if they're throwing a punch, you block, boom. That would be Kung Fu as well as Kempo, because boom, boom, and then boom, boom. You got to be able to know. And you have your target zones. Kempo works a lot on pressure points. People be sleeping on Kempo, and for all of those who are watching who say pressure points are bullshit, let me explain it to you in a lovingly manner. You haven't had it done to you properly, even with resistance. Pressure points works with pain and compliance. Pain and compliance works when, okay, pure and simple. When a cop puts handcuffs on your ass and you resist, they use pressure points to put handcuffs on your ass. So if you haven't been arrested by a cop who knows what they're doing and has the proper training of teaching you pressure points, when they're twisting your thumb in a way that it's not supposed to go, or they're jamming their finger into that little indentation in your thumb, then they are using pressure points. Pressure points do work if applied properly. And if you're really tough, pressure points aren't effective on you as they are on other people. And the reason why pressure points work is because of your pain tolerance threshold. If you don't have a pain tolerance threshold, it's not going to take much for someone to hit you in the sternum or to put you in an arm lock and an arm bar and subdue your ass. Alright? A lot of karate has a lot of locks where they twist your hand this way and they hold certain points inside your hand. So when people tell you that pressure points don't work, I will tell you, here's how this works. All fights are situational. And if you get to a point where you have someone in an arm bar and a lock and you have them down and your knees on the back of their neck and their arms twisted up behind them like this, and you twist their hand and the right amount of pressure on that wrist, they will comply. So having been taught that way, exactly what I just said, having them twist you up like that, and I never had the knee on the back of my neck. I have put my knee on the back or on the front of people's necks. So, every fight is situational. Every fight. There are different grappling techniques and chokeholds. Some out of wrestling, some out of martial arts. Both very dangerous. Alright? This one, for me, this Cobra Clutch out of wrestling, is more dangerous than this sleeper chokehold. Because the sleeper hold, this goes under your neck. And it's put on you with this vice. Now, for me, I like to add a little extra. So I will put my knee in your back while I'm choking you. Just in case you're stronger and this shit ain't working. And if you're way bigger than me, like if I was like going against someone Andre the Giant size with The Rock, then I would put both my knees in their back. Let me show you with this ruler. So I'm going to put my knees somewhere in here on a guy that's over 6 feet tall. The trick is I have to be able to get my arms around their neck. Notice I added that in because here's reality. If I can't get my hands around your neck, this is just a symbol. It's like me, it's morphin' time. It's just a symbol. But when you have someone's head in between there and you got that locked, and you're pulling up, you're reeling their back, and you have your knees in their backs, and you're rocking on that shit, that's when the shit works. Now, the thing is, if their defenses is just like that, I'm throwing punches and they're batting that shit away, I got to work real hard to get to you to put that grip on. And that's the difference maker in a fight. You have to be able to get to your opponent to put them in any kind of hold. But in the event that your opponent makes a mistake, they swing and they over-rotate and they go right by you. And you lock them up and you put it in there and you jump on their back and you put your knees in their back. The fight's yours. Now their body belongs to you to manipulate them. Let's say you can't get them in this one and you get them in this one. This one is more effective because they have no space to move. And you can slide up and down your arm because this is your hold. This is your lock. And if you're left-handed, it's the same damn thing. You know? So you just have to learn how to maneuver your grip. You know? Now, the events of both of those can be very fatal. So you don't want to choke someone to death. But that shit can happen. So know when they are out, drop them. You know? Keep an eye on them so you can drop them. You know? And again, I just pissed off 90 people and they're all going to say, James, you're full of shit. Believe what you want. You let me put your ass in this goddamn hole and your ass will be a believer. It's just that simple. I have won fights with that. I know this. When we first moved over here to Rougemont, I've had to use this one first. I used it twice. And the idiot that I fought was willing to go for a third round. And the third round was the final round and I put him in this one. So I know what works. Now you don't have to believe nothing I say. That's your opinion. But here's how fighting works. Fighting works on two principles. I'm going to hit you or you're going to hit me. Whichever one of us gets lucky enough to put the other one to sleep wins the brawl. Self-defense works on the same thing. You know, you don't want to get hit and you don't want to have to hit anybody, but in the events that this thing's about to explode, someone's going to get hit. It's just as simple. Someone's going to get hit. And you need to know how tough you are in a fight. You know, if you can take a beating as good as you can give a beating, you're an ace. If you can't take a beating, then you have one job. Make sure you beat them before they beat you. Self-defense is a very intricate way of saying, I know how to fight and defend myself versus someone who says, I am a fighter and I know how to fight. Well, here's how this works. When you are defending yourself, 9 times out of 10, it does help to have a little bit of fighting experience under your belt. When you are a fighter, it does help to have a lot of fighting experience under your belt. Notice what I said there on that play of words. When you are defending yourself, it does not hurt to have a little bit of fighting experience. When you are a fighter, it does help to have a fuck ton of fighting experience under your belt. The more fights you've been in, the more chances you have of actually successfully winning the fight. Right? And then there's always that beginner's luck. Let's not count out beginner's luck. Let's not count out the person who isn't experienced but very, very scared. And they're so scared that they're going to lose that they may kill you by accident. You know, things happen. And that's the thing about fights and battles. Those things do happen. They are not unheard of where someone accidentally gets the shit knocked out of them, literally, because even though they thought they were a good fighter, it can still get knocked out. Even the great fighters get knocked out at least once. The trick is, you got to have a good defense. As well as your offense, you got to have a good defense. You got to be able to block, and you got to be able to take it as good as you can give it. Or things are going to go caca, and they're going to go really, really fast, and shit's not going to work out in your favor. So, you know, you have to be more eccentric. Experience will always be your teacher in a fight. Understand that. And here, understand this. Let me make this abundantly clear, because this is about to be the most honest statement that you can ever get from anybody who's ever going to teach you how to fight, or whoever has been in a fight. Everyone you fight is a different competitor every time you fight. You're not going to fight the same guy twice and he's not going to have picked up on some shit. He's not going to learn nothing new. That's bullshit. Anytime you fight somebody more than one time, they're going to learn something new just because they don't want to be beat by you again. So they're going to pick up some shit. You know? And the thing about fighting experience, the more you fight, the better you get at it. Yeah, I know it sounds bad. If you ask those people who have cauliflower ear, they'll probably tell you, James is full of shit. James has never been in a real fight. Well, here's the thing. No, James has not been in a controlled environment fight. I have never been in the octagon. I have been in lots of real fights. You know? It's why I'm always, when I go to restaurants and shit like that, my eyes are always on the door. I'm always on the door. And before I joined the military, eyes are always on the door. As a person who was in the military, I can tell you now, my eyes are always on the door, the window, all of the exits. Because I'm scanning the area to find an escape route and my mission on how to get out of the place once all hell breaks loose. Because when you're in fighting mode, you got combat stress, you have anxiety, You have an adrenaline rush and an adrenaline dump. So you got to be aware of all the things around you at once, plus be in the moment of that fight. When you are in a fight, there's no rules in the streets. There are rules in the cage. You can't use the cage as a weapon. You can't fucking elbow people in the spine, all kinds of other shit. Which is why I would lose every time I'd be in the octagon. Almost guaranteed, because I have a bad habit of following street fighting procedure. Street fighting procedure is anything goes at any time. And you're in the octagon, there are two things you are legally, or three things, because I found this out, there are three things you are not allowed to do. You cannot knee them in the crotch, you cannot eye gouge, and sadly, you cannot elbow anyone in the spine. Now, as a street fighter and a martial artist, I can tell you right now, you have a certain intricate traffic of what hurts a person in a fight. Your body is designed to do certain things, and certain parts of your body is not designed to be hit. Alright? So if taught properly by the right instructors, there are some places that you can hit and you can do enough damage to subdue your opponent. You can also do some fatal damage that can make sure that your opponent never gets the fuck back up. Which is why in UFC and MMA, you are not allowed to elbow people in the spine. I found this out about 9 or 10 years ago. Not too long after I had either went to the military or before I went to the military, when somebody had talked to me about MMA, and I was like, yeah, that's cool and everything. And then they told me, okay, so what do you do if somebody comes in and scoop? And I tell you guys this story before. I'm going to knee them in the sternum, and I'm going to elbow them in the back. And I said that I would elbow them specifically either in the cups of their shoulder blades or right there in the shoulder blades. Like right, not in the spine, although that would be in the streets. I would elbow them in the spine without a problem. Like right there or anywhere down this spinal tract except for right up here, because that bone could be very fatal. But in these cups, if I wasn't wearing my shirt and if I was muscularly defined, these cups right there on both arms, my elbows are going to fit in there perfectly, and I'm going to elbow them over and over while they're trying to body slam me. Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of fighters are ground and pounders. A lot of them aren't really about standing up. I have no ground game, so I'm not going to let you get me on the ground, because that's an automatic loss for me, because all I'm going to do is be able to cover the fuck up. So that's not going to work for me. But I have a good stand-up game. If you coming in at me, if you coming in and you scooping down, I can end that shit real quick with a fucking knee. Let's call it like it is. You're going for a double underhook. I don't have to let you grab me. As soon as you grab me, bam! Yeah, I can drive that knee right there. As long as like adrenaline and the crowd doesn't fuck up my focus, you're coming in and I boom throw a damn knee up in there. You walk right into it. Because a lot of people try to sprawl and grab you. So on their sprawl and grab, boom! Yeah, I drive a knee in there. That may be illegal, but that's what I'm gonna do. Because I fight. It's what I know how to do. It's what I've been taught since I was 7 years old. It's what I've been doing since I was 6. They're coming at you this way, bam! You drive that knee in their ass. Because you may not get the chance to drop an elbow. Most of the guys that you're fighting, they're fighting you by weight and reach. And if a guy's got a longer reach, you got a little bit of a problem. You got to work harder to get in there. And 9 times out of 10, it doesn't work like that. Because a fight works 2 ways. I'm going to hit you, you're going to hit me. One of us is going to go down. And then the one that's on top, generally, going to wind up being a loser. So, if we're standing up, I'm good. If we're going down, I will say this 1,000 times before I ever have to do this. Because I've said this to my drill sergeant Hayes when I started learning Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in Delta Company. I suck at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I have no ground game. I also have no intention of letting you put me on the ground. And we started off on our backs, so side mount, full mount, adjust, dab, roll, that kind of shit. Me? Psh, frack that. You coming at me to tackle me, it's the worst mistake you can make. Because I'm going to elbow you in your spine. Unless we're in an MMA environment where I can't do that because it's illegal. But I'm not just going to sit there and let you slam me either. So again, you're doing self-defense. You need to learn a few things. First off, you need to understand that getting hit sucks. Alright? I don't give a damn who you are. I don't give a damn how strong you are. I don't give a fuck how big you are. Getting hit sucks. Whether you're on the receiving end or not. If you're on the giving end, it doesn't suck as much if you know how to throw a punch without breaking your fucking hand. But if you're on the giving end, you know, which is what I meant to say the first time. When you're on the receiving end, if you can take a hit, you're good. If you're on the receiving end, I'm still fucking that up. If you're on the receiving end and you can take a hit, good for you. If you're on the giving end and you can give a hit without breaking your hand, you're good. But in a fight, you're not worried about any of that shit on the streets. Now, when you're in the MMA environment or the UFC environment or whatever, in the cage, you know, you have your standards and rules that you must follow. So you will follow them or you will be ejected, which means if you run at me and I, boom, and elbow you in the spine, I got disqualified. Why? Not from the knee to the gut, but from the elbow to the spine. Illegal move. Alright? You come at me and I put you in a code breaker where I grab you by the back of your head and jump on my back and put my knees into your face. Not an illegal move. Because wrestling is allowed in the MMA and the UFC. However, if I do that and transition over into the lacrosse face, it's still legal because wrestling is allowed. I'm going for the tap out. Now, on the other hand, if you do that shit to me, now we ain't having that. Because as soon as you go to put your knees in my shit, I'm going to do everything I can to avoid bouncing on top of you so that I don't get hurt. You got to be able to fight if you're going to be in a fight. And you don't have it in your skull where you think you can fight versus knowing you can fight. I'm going to make a video about that because this video is overshot. Thanks for watching. Be seeing you.